Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining our session, deep dive into MSIX. Let me quickly introduce our company. We were founded 2003 by a team of engineers from PricewaterhouseCoopers and later IBM. We started working on the workplace with MSI, the year 2000 with Office 2000, and we're developing new solutions and creating Windows installer packages. 10 years later, we supported our customers in running their AppV environments and helped them to combine their virtual AppV packages with their existing software. Right now, we are starting to migrate our customers from AppV environments to MSIX and help them moving from the local installed enterprise solutions to the cloud. In short, me as a person, I spent half my life now in packaging and providing the customers the best technologies to use these packaging formats. What you will hear in this session is a brief history of MSIX, the MSIX architecture, structure, and the file format. This will be a deep dive. We're using the MSIX integrated update feature. So basically, when you run a program, when you start a program, it checks for a later version and would replace it right away without having a deployment system. We're looking into the latest tech, the MSIX App Attach, that you can use on Azure, virtual desktop, or on your VDI enterprise VDI environment. And then we give you a brief lookout for the package robot, how you can create those MSIX packages really easy. So where are we now in 2022? In short, it's complicated. The Windows installer technology has been here since 20 years and has not seen one major update in the last 10 years. And many manufacturers are still using MSI, but if you look at Chrome or Microsoft Teams, they're abandoning the regular MSI technology. So they're doing their own stuff within the MSI, and it's not a real MSI anymore. And meanwhile, Microsoft has rebranded their AppX technology to MSIX and put an end date to AppV. It's still some time, but we can be sure it will not be further developed. Everything will be invested in MSIX. However, Microsoft was not able yet to move all their vendors using MSIX, all their third party. They are still doing it, but I think it will take some additional years till everybody has moved to these technologies. Meanwhile, our customers, they have moved from classic fat client installation to either VDI infrastructures or cloud solutions. So they usually have a combination of all those technology, and they are a little bit struggling to have everything in one place. So just create the package one time, have those different teams work together so that you don't have to maintain like 3 different environments. And Windows is great for its backwards compatibility, but in the same time, it's a nightmare for your security officers because every company can do their own setup. They can write into the registry and everywhere, and you're not really sure what happens. So the easiest thing is to combine today the MSIX technologies for application where it works and combine them with your legacy installations. Let me make a deep dive into the history of MSIX. So we have here, year 2000, MSI was released with the SDK with Office 2000. And then 2006, they bought AppV technology. And 2009 was basically the last update to MSI, last functional update. And in 2012, they made a major update to AppV. And this is pretty close to the MSIX that we have today from the file format view. 2014, they launched AppX. And it was meant to be the solution for all their environments. So it was meant to have the same application on your Xbox and on your Windows Phone device. So there's one app and one setup for all. But that didn't really work out as expected. So 2015 was the last update to AppV, last functional update. And they invested all their efforts now in MSIX. First, it was just for universal apps, and later they added here the compatibility for Win32 apps, so you can even run your regular software products with MSIX. 2021, they added the PSF framework. That's for helping fixing compatibility issues for software that you couldn't run on MSIX. And 2021, they launched MSIX App Attach that we will see later on in the session. So what is it all about? Why are we using MSIX? First thing is, it's not just the new MSI format as it looks. It's not just the successor of MSI. It is more the successor of AppV. And every application that you install with MSIX gets virtualized, so it can't harm your host system. Second one, what's really great is the compatibility and availability. That means on every machine you have MSIX installed. So before it was AppV is only meant for enterprise application, and you couldn't run it on your home device. But now it's available on every Windows 10 system. Security is a great feature because everything is in a bubble, and you can't write to your host system. Also, it gets signed. And it makes some security checks that you can't change executable within your MSIX installation. Simplicity, you really just have to double-click or import it into your existing environment. It's really simple to install and uninstall. It has this great auto-update feature. So that means all updates, you don't need to deploy them with your deployment solution, but the MSI checks them during startup. Streaming, it does only synchronize the files that have been changed. And there's some great stuff for web integration and app attach. So, let me show you how the MSIX is built. I have the software Intune, and this is deployed on my machine as a MSIX. So if I run it, I can open up the task manager, and I can see the software. It wasn't installed to see program files, but it's installed to see program files, Windows apps. So you can see you have a different path here. It always puts them to Windows apps, and it manages the installation folder automatically. So that means in theory you could have more than one version on your machine installed, because it's not a problem because of installation. You can also change the install folder on your system. So if you want them on your external drive, it will automatically go to your second disk. So what we always find in an MSI package is the AppManagEvent manifest file. This is basically a description of the software. So here you can check stuff like manufacturer. So up here, who did provide this? Who's the publisher? As I mentioned before, every MSIX needs to be signed, so you can be sure that it's really from the publisher and not from some strange website when you install this software. Then here you have the target system. Where can you install this software? And here you have dependencies. So if it needs C++ runtime, it will automatically reference this and add it. Here, interesting is the capability, and that means can it access your webcam, can it access your address book, stuff like that. So in that case, full trust, it means it can access all the resources of your system. It can access them, but it cannot overwrite files or stuff like that, but you can still read them. And here you find a description of what file types are associated with this software. So you already know before that you can open up MP3 with this software. And in the end, we find some firewall rules. So it automatically adds the stuff to your software firewall if you use the Windows firewall. So that's a great thing. So before we install it, we already know what it's going to do. In some cases, you find registry information. That means the software, it can access your registry, but it can't write to it, so it's in a bubble. And you can always check what registry keys are used for this software. And you could load this registry.file and look inside. So the good thing is basically you know what happens before you install the software. You are aware it will link my MP3 files to this software. And here we can map it and look what's inside this registry. So this works close to the AppV technology that you know. The format is really close as well. And you can do that for every software package. So the format is open. Here we have the virtual file system. You usually find this for application as well as the registry. You usually find this for apps that are not compiled really for MSIX. So this is for backwards compatibility. Most of the new programs, they don't use the registry anymore. But if you want to convert an old software, you will find this registry that and the program files. What I'm showing here is the virtualization. So you see here, we are in C program files, common files. This is on the native host machine. And it doesn't have an Apple folder. If I switch now to this software is virtualized. And if I say file open, I have a different view to my file system. So MSIX is emulating this folder. That means you have it in your virtual file system. And when you look from here, you can see an Apple folder. This is the view from your software. You can't see it physically on your C drive, but the software here, because it's virtualized, it can see this folder, so it thinks there is an Apple folder there, and it works properly. The good thing is, for sure, that if you uninstall this software, everything gets uninstalled except of the files that you created during your session. So you're always sure that you have a proper uninstallation. Yeah, so to summarize it, MSIX is not installed to see program files. It's in its own location. The registry is not touched. You can't write directly to your registry. That was still possible in some cases with AppV, where you could write to the host's registry. And the file system is not touched. You can restrict your access. So if you don't want to have access to the webcam, you can remove that. The manifest file we saw describes the application and its access to the system, and multiple version is possible. And as I mentioned, it's better than AppV because they made some better tweaks to properly uninstall your virtual packages. In AppV, there could be cases that you remove like file extensions and stuff. This is not possible with MSIX anymore. Let's go to the update feature. What I mentioned is MSIX does not need a deployment system to apply updates because it has a built-in reference to where it was installed, and during startup, it will check this URL if there's already a newer version, and it will automatically apply this update. In that case, if you have like a 1 GB software, it will automatically only update the difference. So if you just changed 5 megabytes within your update, it will only download those 5 megabytes. You have no interruption because it's done during the startup of the application. And you never realize that you just received an update. Let me show you how this works. So what we are doing is, this could be your internal corporate website where you can give that website to your users so they can directly download the software that they need. You could think of like a university with students that have to bring their own device. You can not install them an agent, they don't like that, but you can provide them with this website so they can install it themselves. Good thing about MSIX as well, you usually just need user rights, not administrative rights to install the software, because it can't harm your machine, and that's why it's possible. So you can now either provide the MSIX file that has 200 megabytes to your user, they can download it, they can install it, everything is fine. The problem there is when they install it, they won't receive the next update. So it's 280 megabytes. It has you could install it now, but we're not doing that. Instead, we are downloading an app installer file. You see it here. And this is just a text file that contains the information where to download the MSIX file. And it has the advantage, it will next time check if the MSIX file has been replaced and automatically apply this update. So if you provide this file to your users, you see it's just 2 kilobytes, they will auto-update. So this is how it looks. It's really simple. You have here the file itself, where it's located. Interesting is here, if you want to build this up yourself, you have to remove the version number. So this file needs always be the same name, but you will have to manage the version number because it checks during startup if this has been changed. And then here, you find the link to the real MSIX package. And every time you start up this application, it will go look for this file here. That's just this one, very, very clean. Look if the version has been changed, and if yes, goes to this download link here and downloads the software. So same happens here. If I double-click this little file, it will ask me, do you want to install Chrome now? Yes or no. So this is very simple. You just have to create a folder within your environment and place those files in there. There's nothing else to do. The rest will be done by the MSIX. What you see here is our interface. We have 12 free packages for everyone to use, commercial or non-commercial, where you could test out this feature. What you need to do is you have to create an account. Then you can say, I want to make an MSIX web development, and we will create those files automatically for you. So you just have to put them on your share, double-click the app installer file, and that's it. So I'm showing it here. I have the Zoom package. That's an MSIX. I download a zip file here. And the only thing I have to do is I have to place them on the server. So as you see with MSIX, you're really free to use the method of how to deploy it. You can use a management server to deploy it classically and handle the updates using the management server. You could use Intune, directly upload it to Intune and use Intune. But if you don't have an agent on your target machine, you could go for that option. So you see, we create those two files, app installer, and here's the MSI. It has the description inside, so you just have to take those two files, put it on a share, on a web server, and then send this app installer link to your users. And if you need to update this software, just replace the two files with the latest version, and everything gets done automatically. So you would just have to change this version when you update, keep everything here, give the latest version, and all your users, if they start up the application the next time, it will update, and it's a good thing because usually it's not at the exact same time, so it's not in the morning and your server goes down. Everybody starts the application during another time, so you have a little bit of less network problems. Yeah, just a quick note to the security features. We have integrity check. So in your app manifest file, you can set a feature that says every time that the application is started, it will check if the files have been modified, and it will reset the application automatically. So you are sure nobody can modify your executables that's inside your MSIX package. The signing is required. It's not mandatory. There's no workaround for this. So every MSIX needs to have a certificate, and the interfaces are described. That's what I mentioned before. You know what the application is going to access on your PC. For the last part, let's look into MSIX App Attach. It has been provided for Windows 10 Enterprise, 2004 or later, and it is only for Enterprise, as you see here. So you need the big license. Funny enough, it works on my professional workstation as well, but it's meant to run on enterprise. So the thing is, instead of installing the MSIX to your C program files, you just mount it from the network share. And this is what it seems. You create a VHD disk, a virtual disk, and instead of copying the files, you just mount this virtual disk from your network with a drive letter, for instance. It's not using drive letters, but you can see it later on in the disk manager. It's just mounted. The cool thing about this, it's really fast. So if you have a 2 GB MSIX package, if you needed to install this every morning on your VDI session, you will always copy those 2 GB on your C drive, and that's not necessary because you perhaps only use it once a day. And you can, within seconds, you can mount really large programs, and the user is not aware that he just receives the software now. So as you see here, there's no copy job necessary. Everybody runs the application from the network, and you can decide this on a MSIX package base. So you can say, I want those 20 package just mounted, and you can still install the most important package physically on your C drive. So it's great for VDI, and it's mandatory for Azure Virtual Desktops. They only allow this technology to install optional software. Let me show you how this works. As I mentioned, you can do this with any MSIX package. So first thing, you need to check if you have really a Windows Enterprise license. As I mentioned in my case, it worked on Windows Pro. And then you can download one of the free packages that we have. We go for the media player. Let me first go to the settings here. I change now I want to use App Attach, not like before with the web server. And I can provide a local cache. This is used for creating temporary links. Doesn't really affect, you can take anything here. And then you go and you download your MSIX package. And we run several tests. We didn't find any MSIX package that didn't run that way. So you can really be sure if it's running on MSIX, you can use this feature as well. So because I selected App Attach, we provide some additional scripts that you can use or modify to your wishes. They are written in PowerShell. So what have we here? We have the MSIX file. It's 70 megabytes. It's the VLC player. But we don't use the MSIX. We have to build a virtual disk. So we have to convert this file here to a VHD. And that's why we provided this PowerShell script that does this automatically for you. So he's creating a virtual disk. He's formatting the virtual disk. And now he's using this MSI MGR executable from Microsoft to convert this or to put this MSIX file in this virtual disk. So here now you have this disk. It's larger. There's, as you know, with virtual disks, it's a problem with sizing. So usually it's a little bit larger than the original. You can still shrink it if you feel to, but it's no big issues because usually you place this on your network share and you don't have to bother about. So I put this now to my packages folder on the network. Just place those VHD files inside. You see we already have a second one. And if you would mount this in your disk manager, you would see the contents of the MSIX package. So I could make a startup script now for my users and run this PS1. And this enumerates all the files that have VHDX inside this folder, and it mounts them using diskpart or a slight other tool, but it's basically using this part. And you see it's already installed. So it took seconds to install, to mount those two software products. So you can do this with 30 programs. It will only take some seconds to mount them during startup. So you can't access the folder. Windows somehow prevents this. But they are launched now from the network drive where the VHD is located. So this is really great for your VDI environments. With AppV, we had some streaming. You see them here, the blue ones. They're really physically mounted in your disk management system. So with AppV, you had this streaming technology where you just publish the application, and it publishes the first most important files. But using this technology, you have it on your machine straight away, available, so there's no need for streaming. And in your VDI environment, this will be really fast. So during startup, mount 30 applications, and nobody will realize how fast this works. So we are now in the virtual desktop environment from Microsoft. They say we should add an MSIX package. What they really mean is we should add a virtual disk. And you see it here. I have added here 4 virtual disks on my Azure file system. You can see them here. So this is a little bit confusing. He asked for MSIX packages, but really needs those disks. So they get mounted automatically in my Azure desktop environments. That means that's really easy. You can keep your main image, your build really small, and add all the stuff that you need using this technology. If you use this, so we've seen 2 options now. If you use this in your company, you have a little bit to make sure that if you place all those MSIX files on the same share, it could be that in the morning everybody is accessing this share, and you have to look on the network traffic. So perhaps you make 2 different shares if you have 2 locations, but it's really easy. It's just a file copy, put it in, and if you think of the update, it's really easy. Delete the old application, the old VHD file, replace it with the new one, and it gets automatically updated. There's no uninstall involved or anything. It just works. So how would you go on if you want to make your own MSIX, if you want to run this in your environment? Perhaps the first thing is you need to be aware what kind of a certificate you want to use. As I mentioned before, all the MSIX files need to be signed by a certificate. You can create your own certificate. You can buy a certificate from the big vendors. If you create your own, you have to make sure that you install it on every machine. So you have to deploy it somehow. If they bring you their own device, they need to install your certificate first. You could order one from one of the big certificate companies, and then you can make sure it works on any device, even your home device, but you have to run through a process to achieve this big certificate. Before you start, you need to check your application. So everything is great with MSIX. Unfortunately, not everything works with MSIX. So if you have deep integration like a virus scanner or a printer driver or stuff like that, you won't be able to do this as an MSIX. So you have to be aware here of the limitations. I think it's pretty close. If you couldn't do it with AppV before, it won't work with MSIX, I guess, in most cases. So you can expect the same amount of compatibility here. Then for sure, if the vendor already provides an MSIX, use that one, don't recapture it. Unfortunately, there's a long way to go. Not many vendors are in the Microsoft App Store, and most of your application, you will have to do it manually. Yeah, you can use our package robot. We can see that in the second session, we have a really simple interface to convert existing MSI and set up EXE to MSIX. It works in some cases. In other cases, you need a professional MSIX packaging tool or the free tool from Microsoft, if that works for you. In the end, test your application. If it works, it's good, because you won't harm your PC. If it doesn't, try some PSF fixes and try to get it compatible. You will fail with some programs we do that just don't run on MSIX. Yeah, that's the preview for my second session. We provide like 100 existing templates. So what we do with the package robot is we download, in that case, Firefox exe directly from the website from Mozilla. We convert it automatically without capturing it. So we basically unzip the original sources, and we convert them to an MSIX. We sign it, and you're really fast to convert it. It automatically applies your guidelines. So the stuff that you saw before, those PowerShell that get created and many things more, they get automatically applied. So you don't have to mention your server name every time, or you can provide a naming convention how you want to download it and put it on your server. For this tool, no packaging know-how is necessary. To be honest, for many applications, even if you snapshot them, there's no know-how necessary. It starts to get ugly if it doesn't work. In that case, it automatically advanced. You have to be really look into the technology to apply those PSF fixes. For you, the good thing is you can't destroy anything. So you can create your MSIX package. If it doesn't work, no harm has been done, so you can't kill the user's machine, because it's always in the bubble, and you can always properly remove it without any issues. So what can we do as a company for you? As you see, we have this automatic creation. We have an existing shop with 100 existing MSIX packages that get automatically updated every week. We have a package description that you can join. As you've seen, there's this evergreen approach. So for you, it will be a problem if you have to, every week, you have to recapture Firefox or Chrome. You will at some point stop using MSIX technology because it's too much work. So you can use our evergreen package. We always provide the latest version for the most common apps. There are guidelines that you have seen, naming conventions, stuff like that. We have code snippets for you. So if you have your own project, just use the existing one or ask us for code snippets. And we have an automatic integration into Intune or endpoint manager, so that we provide the PowerShell scripts or the interfaces to directly upload this to your environment. And in the end, we have an additional service that we can provide non-compatible MSIX packages. So you have to think of, that's basically the way we think you should go. If the vendor provides the MSIX, use that one. That's the right one. We can create native MSIX packages like VLC player, Adobe Reader, stuff like that. We have elevated packages. That means even we can convert them to MSIX. Still, the user needs administrative rights either during installation or during runtime of the application. And then, this is starting to get ugly here. We can provide you, in theory, with MSIX with unvirtualized content. That means we have developed a little service that looks inside those MSIX packages, and if they find a special script or a special folder, it will run this when you install your MSIX package. So this works for dongle drivers, dongle software drivers, stuff like that. It's not nice because we are breaking the virtualization, but if you need them in your project because you're running a virtual desktop for Microsoft, perhaps you need this ugly workaround. And in the end, we have a really even more ugly workaround where you can use basically the MSIX as a transport system and then run inside your application that was never meant for virtualization. So this is only used as the last case. Let's go again back to this university that provides all their software. They have like 30 software products that they want to give to their students, and one is a dongle software, and perhaps they want to, this last one, use this ugly technology to still provide it for their students. That's it. Thanks a lot.